Well, we are live. Hey guys, what's going on? We're back with another monthly business spotlight. I'm Cory Wilson with Frederick Frederick Group. I have Lukey Markey and I have Drew Hopley. I don't know who we're interviewing today, but it's just really weird. Who's the special guest? Is it Luke or is it Drew? Drew's never been on these before. So Drew, thanks for attending. But let's not kid ourselves here. Luke is the highlight of this show. Luke, thanks for joining, man. You are the owner and then just everything of Shield Co. here in downtown. So why don't you just kind of introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yeah. Name's Lukey Markey, and here at Shield Co. and Creative Metal Design, we design and produce beautiful metal artwork and ship it across the world.
Like, that's not an understatement. You literally ship across the world.
That's right.
So take me back, Luke, before Shield Co. Like, who was Lukey Markey? Where did you just get out of college or like, I'm going to go into metal design? Like, how did you get here?
Yeah, so my dad is a blacksmith, and spent a lot of time just like with him in the shop. He was in like plastic sales in the 70s, and his boss had told him that he could become like this vice president of this plastics company if he were to move down to Georgia. And he was like, no, I like Frederick. I'm not going to move. And at that point, he just like left, went out to New Mexico, and studied to become a blacksmith. Came back, put a sign in his front yard, and just like generated enough business to like keep our family afloat. So he was like not much of a businessman, but was a great fabricator and just like a hell of a good guy. And so fast forward a handful of years, and my brother and I are born, and we spend some time just like with my dad in the shop. But he always like takes just a really long time to show us anything, and kind of is like a little frustrating to work with, just because he's a real perfectionist and just like takes so much time to do any simple process. And so he provided for the family. We were never rich, but he provided. He continued to, knock out projects and work long hours. So he sent us to college. I studied finance and accounting in North Carolina. Ended up getting my CPA and going to work at Deloitte in Atlanta, and did some like big company forensic accounting type stuff. So we were helping BP recover money, and we were helping JP Morgan recover money, and we were going through litigation and submitting, like subpoena documents. And after that, for 3 years, it was like real kind of like heartless, didn't like it, and decided that I was just going to take a break and come home and like revitalize my dad's business. Mm-hmm. And in that time period, he had bought this piece of equipment, it was called a CNC plasma cutter. It's computer numerical control. So if you tell it to go to 30 by 30, it'll go 30 inches over and 30 inches up. Or if you tell it to go 15 by 15, so you can design it to draw what you want it to draw. And he bought it for one project. They used it, and he never really used it again because he didn't really understand it. And that was like the main thing that I wanted to be able to like learn how to use. So I read the manual and worked with my brother and made some cool designs. I went to Colombia, South America, studied Spanish, came back, was like, Dad, I'm going to like revitalize your business. We're going to like just blow your company up.
So was he starting to get out of it? Was he thinking about retirement? And then you guys were like, let's take it.
It was just kind of the same. So I always say like the metals stay the same weight, but he got weaker, So he was just hawking around these like heavy projects all the time, and he never had any employees. He worked with some people on the side, but never had he was never in like the growth mindset of the business. So I was like, Dad, we're going to like start to approach hotels and restaurants, and we're going to be making tables and chairs and chandeliers and stuff. And he just looked at me and was like, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to change the business. And it was like a really, really like sad day, because I had like started to fall in love with like working with my hands. And then I had made some really cool designs, and my brother, who was at Columbia Business School at the time, thought some of the designs were pretty neat as well. And that's when we decided that we were going to kind of go in a different direction than my dad's business and create Shield Co., which is the laser cutting, powder coating, layered metal artwork stuff. So we went two totally separate directions. Like, Dad, that's fine. You can continue to run your business, and we'll continue to like work together. But you have no interest in like growing the business. And then after like 5 years, he really started to see like how our business was growing, and we weren't having to work more,
Sure.
And now we've assumed his business as well, and so it's under our same heading, under a different business name, but all part of the same LLC. And yeah, and so we're cranking stuff out now. But
what a cool feeling for him to really just see you guys like just kind of come in and just take it to where it is today. I mean, you guys literally do signage and these really, excuse my language, badass signs for so many companies across the world. I would love to chat with your dad now, going back, 20, 30 years. Did he ever see his name or his product or something like that ever reaching that far?
Dude,
he's got to be super proud of you guys.
I've got this awesome article that found in my dad's like archives of it's just him in the newspaper, and he was working with this guy with the last name Hurwitz, who's actually Jeff Hurwitz's brother, who's a really talented blacksmith. And my dad and him were working together. They did the gates to the Statue of Liberty in like the mid 80s. And so they interviewed my dad about it, and they were like, so tell us about, your career and like how you became you. And he was like, well, I've just always taken the jobs that nobody else wanted. So that was his.
That'll do it.
That was how he cornered the market. He just did the jobs no one else wanted to do. So like, he's totally. It's so fun because he lights up like coming into the shop and like working on projects, and we're like having to get like a detailed drawing done, and we have the ability to do it. And he comes in and just loves the employees here, and like it's like kind of a family for him too. So it's totally cool. He had no expectation as to like what his business was going to grow into, and it's part of the reason that part of the reason that I wanted to work with him was because I was talking to a friend in New York, and I told her that I was going to leave New York and go back and work with my dad as a blacksmith from consulting. And she was like,
is it when you were at Deloitte?
When I was at Deloitte, yeah. And she said, the things that have an expiration have to be done first. And like the time working with my dad, I'm so thankful that I did take that jump 7 years ago, because we all know these situations where someone passes early, or you become incapacitated early. And I've been very, very fortunate to have made the jump to be able to work with my dad. And now like we're building this business that'll continue long after he's passed, and will be like in memorial to him.
I mean, we could stop right there, folks. I mean, that hits deep. But also I want to go back to the quote that you just said a second ago. Things with expiration, what?
Yeah, the things with an expiration have to be done first. Some things you could like always do, at a later date, but like with my dad getting older and like his memory not as sharp, like gotta work with him now, because it's not always going to be available to you.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, what a different world to come from too, from Deloitte. And I know I've had conversations with you about the time there, then switch into this world. I mean, just how has really that side of the world prepared you to really come into something like this and create systems? Because I mean, you didn't buy systems, you had to create them yourself for a company like this. I mean,
it's like internally Deloitte has like a university program, and they call it Deloitte University. And I feel like I'm a graduate of Deloitte University because school teaches you a lot of different things, but like Deloitte put it into action, and having to make deliverables that were going to be scrutinized, and so how to work like under pressure. And for Deloitte, it kind of brought this mindset, and we've talked about this before, but like that in school you can get like a 98% on something, or a 95% on something, or even an 85% on something, and you're great. I'm going to pass this class, everything's wonderful. But in business and for yourself, it's like there's nothing less than like 100%. You can't screw up on something, you can't miss something. And Deloitte really like kind of brought that to full attention. They were very strict about things adding up and making full sense, and not just like, it's good enough, let's go with it.
I love that.
So, there was a great training ground for being able to run your own business. But man, I mean, so it's a heck of a ride. It's a heck of a ride.
So and you and your brother are really manning the ship now.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. My brother started the business with me and was definitely like a thought leader. And I expect at some point he's going to come back and work with us full time. But right now I pay him 2 hours a month.
Okay.
for the business, and he's probably overpaid.
Wow. What's his job for those 2
Drew,
hours?
Drew, no, Drew, don't get any ideas here. Yeah.
So he no, I mean, he's a really bright guy and has given me some good like strategic advice, and we've used some connections that he's built in his career as well that have like jump-started the business. But on a day-to-day basis, he has no relation to like what we're doing on a day-to-day.
Okay.
But he said that once we hit like $10 million in sales in a year, then he'll come back and work with us.
All right.
We'll get to be so lucky.
Oh, okay. I love it.
That's all good.
I love it. So you guys, I mean, we talked about shipping your products all over the world, but when you guys create and design these metal signs, I mean, are we talking small signs, large signs, all scale? I mean, I know you've talked about sending, I think you said you sent the Dallas Maverick logo to Mark Cuban one time. Have you heard back from him yet or what?
No, I guess it got just lost in the mail.
Yeah, the big sign must have got lost. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably hanging out front somewhere.
I know. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
To some like
It's
anonymous
there.
note.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're here in little old Frederick, but you guys create something and do stuff that's just shipped all over the world. I mean, how's the feeling of being able to see your product here locally too, knowing that you guys do big time stuff? I mean, I know you've mentioned like it's awesome to kind of drive through downtown and see your signs hanging off the stores and companies of the local places here. I mean, that's got to just mean so much to you, especially the family, to be able to see your signs here.
Well, and something I just would have to give like a little shout out to my brother, because I always, rag him as you would any brother, right? But he was very adamant on the digital marketing side, and through some of the people that he'd worked with, helped us understand the right way to build our website and the right way to market our website. And has been really instrumental in our ability to reach the entire US, because the standard business type is, just kind of work in like concentric circles around, your home base, and just continue to grow that way. So, it's awesome to see the stuff here in Frederick, but I love to look at our map that we have. I've got to update it, but the place that we've shipped all of our signs, and just how that continues to just be more speckled across the entire United States.
That's cool. I have seen that map. It's pretty cool. It's right when you guys come in the door, back where you guys work. It's all the pins, all the locations you guys have shipped to.
That's right.
That's pretty special. So, I mean, and you guys do so much of the community too. I mean, Shield Co., you recently did something with the MHA.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys raised a good amount of money there. You guys also donated a sign as well.
Yep. Yeah, and we're doing something for the Housing Association with Kevin Lawler. Actually, made some frames for a large mural that are going to be going on 2 buildings. But yeah, I try not to stretch ourselves too thin. But that's something that like a business coach had recommended, is that like set a budget for your donations early in the year, so that you don't continue to drain yourself. But love to do stuff for Rotary, and love to do stuff for the Mental Health Association.
So why Frederick? What is it about Frederick that keeps you guys here?
Man, Frederick is just it's like just a perfect combination for so many different things for me. One, I've always thought about like, you could move to a place that you love, or you could turn the place that you live into a place that you love. And that's like kind of been my like kind of thesis or idea for like the past 7 or 8 years. So it's like, we continue to bring in like good people. We continue to like, it's an educated public. We have good local government that like spends their money wisely. It's like just like a strong organization overall. And then I love the scenery, and I love the mountains, or some people call them hills, but I love them. I call them mountains. I'm proud of them. And I love our access to DC and Baltimore. So, I mean, what you guys are doing and, continuing to bring good people into the area is fantastic. I love to see the housing market continue to be so strong, and everybody wonders what the housing crash is going to be like, if there will be one or whatever, but it probably is not going to be that much for Frederick, because it is so it's so well versed in places for employment, and people can get good jobs here, and good restaurants and everything. So it's just like whenever I see these like top livability scores, I'm always like, man, I really hope Frederick's going to be on this top 10 list. And then I'm like, no, I don't want Frederick to be on that list. I don't want people to find out about it as much, but it's the word's getting out. And yeah, people who like the outdoors and like, livability, it's just an awesome place to be.
I love that. Yeah, Alana and I just got back from Jackson Hole not too long ago, and we ran into a couple of restaurants there, and they put up a fight with like Yelp and Google reviews because they didn't want to be on there. They didn't want to become a tourist location or anything. They just wanted to stay little old, the Bird Restaurant or something like that. So I totally get that. Well, dude, how can people find you? I mean, and when I think of metal signs, I'm thinking maybe I'm not big enough to have my own metal sign or something cool like that. Is there a stigma to people like not want to get their own personal sign for any reason? I mean, should people just reach out and kind of chat with you about getting a sign for the company, something to look good on the front of the house or, something?
It's typically business signs. I mean, that's just where we found the kind of the right mix of professionalism and people being like ready to work. We can do in-house design, but we're not set up as logo designers. And as a logo designer, people might charge $500 to get your logo designed, up to $10,000 to get a logo designed. So if we try to like include that into the cost of one of our signs, it really kind of hurts our overall business. So if your idea of what you want is clear, we make it for the individual, but mainly for businesses. But yeah, Shieldco Art on Instagram, or our email address, my email address of Luke@shieldcoart.com. All easy to reach out. And
and we'll share your social pages as well. But guys, you've heard it here first. You guys own a business in downtown Frederick, and you most likely need a really cool ass metal sign out front for your brand. So, well, Luke, thank you so much. Drew, just thanks for being here, Drew. Drew, you've meant the world to all of us just for finally showing up to one of these things.
Absolutely.
I asked the hard hitting questions.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, we'll have to go over to Quartermasters here soon for just follow up on any other questions you have.
I love it. And
Good
also,
to see you, brother. Thanks for participating.
And also, Luke, we're going to be giving away $1,000 to your company as well as a raffle to someone to come in and get a sign created. So be on the lookout for that as well, and share that away, and let's see if we can get some people ramping up here. So, well, thanks again, Luke. We appreciate you, my friend. Be safe, okay?
All right. Thank you. See ya. Bye.
See you guys.